Early 1300s, Lucca, Italy. An extremely powerful family, the Paggios, helped a young Castruccio Castracani rise to power all the way from soldier to lord of the city. However, once he achieved this power, the Paggios felt that he had forgotten all about them. And so when he was away fighting Florence, they plotted that they were going to find a way to dethrone this ungrateful prince. And so riots broke out. Tensions were building between the Castracani and Paggio supporters. That was all until the oldest member of the Paggios, Stefano, decided he would convince both sides to lay down their weapons. He explained to his family that the conflict would simply end in a fruitless bloodbath, and instead, he should talk with Castracani privately and persuade him to satisfy their demands peacefully. And so, when Castracani got the news of what was occurring, he returned back to his city immediately. Upon returning, because Stefano had made the riots stop, he decided he was going to pay Castracani a visit, figuring that he would be grateful for bringing peace to the city. And so he explained to Castracani that he himself had made the riots stop, and he brought peace to the entire city, along with reminding him of how instrumental the entire Paggio family was in Castracani's rise to power. And so he said the only right thing to do would be to pardon the Paggios and listen to their demands, because that would be fair. And so Castracani listened to Stefano without the slightest bit of anger or resentment. In fact, he said justice will prevail. And in fact, he should invite all of the Paggios over to the palace, and they could discuss their demands more efficiently. And so, a few days later, the entire Paggio family arrived at the palace, and then the entire Paggio family was imprisoned. And then the entire Paggio family was executed, including Stefano. Moron. Evidently, Stefano did not get what he wanted by bringing up his past favors, trying to appeal to the mercy and gratitude of Castracani. On the other hand, a trusted advisor to Genghis Khan had a very different strategy in order to get what he wanted. His name, Gelo Chuzai. By the 12th century, China had a culture which had been thriving for over 2,000 years. Genghis Khan wanted to obliterate all of it. He figured it would be better to exterminate the Chinese and let the grass grow. And so he was going to destroy the entire place, leveling all of the cities. That was until Chuzai, a foreigner who grew to appreciate Chinese culture, convinced him that he would reap riches from the land if he taxed the citizens instead of exterminating the citizens. And so Khan saw the wisdom in this, and he did as Chuzai suggested, and Chuzai got what he wanted. And again, when Khan was conquering the city of Kaifeng, he figured it would be ideal to massacre all of the inhabitants, as he regularly did to any city that tried to resist him. But Chuzai convinced him that all of the finest engineers had fled there, and it would be better to put them to use. And so Khan once again agreed, and Chuzai got what he wanted. Never before had Khan shown such mercy. But Chuzai knew that this wasn't about mercy. He knew Khan well. Khan was a barbarian who cared nothing other than for warfare, practical results, not culture. And so he appealed to the only emotion that would work on such a man. Greed. Self-interest is the button that is going to make people move. Don't bother mentioning all the prior assistance that you've offered in the past, as Stefano tried to do. They're going to find a way to ignore you. You need to offer something of interest to the other party, like Chuzai did. Then, when they see something that there's to be gained for themselves, they'll respond accordingly. If your boss is trying to fire you, don't bother mentioning all the years that you spent with the company and everything you've done for this company and how much you've sacrificed. None of that matters. You need to explain the complexity of an ongoing project that you're involved in and how your absence is going to cause this project to collapse. Subscribe for a future video on how to become irreplaceable. And begging for mercy isn't ideal in most cases either. If your girlfriend is breaking up with you, don't try begging her to give you a second chance. That's not going to work in most cases. Instead, you need to offer something of value to her. If you used to be attractive, but you let yourself get out of shape, you let yourself go, you need to get back into shape. You need to lean down and become more attractive again. If your relationship was based on finances, a beta bucks relationship, then you need to make more money. Not saying I recommend that, but to each their own. I'm just trying to be objective here. Why are old people often so grateful to engage in any conversation? It's because hardly anybody goes out of their way to talk to them at all. And why is this? Because they have nothing to offer to your self-interest. Maybe you have trouble making friends, or maybe you have trouble getting girls, and you're mad at society for being so cruel and unfair. But when was the last time that you went out of your way to sit down and converse with an elderly person? You see, in order to get what you want in life, you need to offer something that appeals to somebody's self-interest. And of course, this is going to be different for every single person and request. In fact, there's actually a very unique reversal to this particular law. You see, some people's self-interest is actually allowing them to exercise generosity, mercy, or charity. Whether it's for good publicity or maybe for their own emotions and self-image, some people actually do have something to be gained when you beg them. Some people just want opportunities to display their good heart or to feel powerful. Maybe just to feel good about themselves, like when you give $1 to a homeless person. And this is precisely why simping could be actually effective in some rare cases. Maybe they could find a better partner than you, but they'll lose that constant emotional validation and power that they have over your bitch ass. Obviously, some people value this more than others. It all depends on their personality type. But technically, at the end of the day, you're still offering them something that appeals to their self-interest. It's a bit more subtle, but you're still offering them something that they want. The thing is that most people don't want this in particular, or at least they don't prioritize it. In general, though, the bottom line is you need to offer something to your target's self-interest. And this is going to be different for every single target and request. And so you'll need to adjust accordingly, and maybe you'll have to do a little bit of studying. And one last thing. For those of you who commented that you actually do go out of your way to talk to elderly people, you're that rare case. Because otherwise you wouldn't be telling us about it, displaying your virtue. Please don't delete the comment though. It'll be an interesting exhibit for all the other viewers.